Hello and welcome to Catholic News Roundup. I'm Christine Niles. Today's February 13th, 2026. Here are this week's top stories. An outspoken Catholic has been fired from Trump's Religious Liberty Commission. At a Monday panel, Carrie Prejean Boller challenged panelists.
So is anti-Zionism anti-Semitism?
One second, Carrie.
Yes. It is? It is?
Sorry.
Yes.
So,
Just to be clear, is anti-Zionism anti-Semitism?
Yes.
It is? Under IHRA?
Rabbi,
Sure.
you're up next.
You're not sure?
Definition,
So
but
what is the definition?
I would love to speak to that. Undoubtedly, anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, and undoubtedly...
Well, as you know, I'm a Catholic, and Catholics do not embrace Zionism, just so you know. So are all Catholics anti-Semites, according to you?
As I said, anti-Zionism, by denying the right of the Jews to have their own state while not saying the same for any other peoples, that is a double standard, hypocrisy, and anti-Semitism.
So just to be clear, are Catholics anti-Semites?
Carrie, excuse me. I'm going to interrupt the discussion. Our committee is focused on religious liberty taken from all people, whether they be Muslims, Jews, Christians, Sikhs. We've had all those witnesses here. This is not a commission on defining religions or calling out any theology, or this is not the commission for that.
Right, but we're
so
talking about
you
a foreign nation, so I want to be clear on what the definition of anti-Semitism is. If I don't support the political state of Israel, am I an anti-Semite? Yes or no?
2 days later, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick fired her from the group, accusing her of hijacking the panel for a political agenda. Critics are blasting Patrick, accusing him of silencing Boller for her religious beliefs. Boller herself hit back, tweeting, quote, "You did not appoint me to the commission, and you lack authority to remove me from it. This is a gross overstepping of your role." And turning to New York City, its Muslim mayor is snubbing Catholics. Breaking 85 years of tradition, Zoran Mamdani was absent from Archbishop Ronald Hick's installation mass on February 6th. The tradition of the mayor, no matter what religion, attending the installation mass dates back to 1939 and is seen as a gesture of basic respect. Mamdani claims he had a scheduling conflict and instead sent his Catholic deputy mayor. It's the third time Mamdani has avoided any Catholic presence. First at his inauguration, where no Catholic clergy were present, then at his interfaith breakfast, where no Catholic clergy were present, and now turning down an invitation to the installation mass. One Catholic commentator tweeted, "When you become mayor of New York City, you don't just represent your voters, you represent the whole city." And New York City has 2.5 million Catholics. Skipping the installation of the new Archbishop of New York was a symbolic insult, whether he meant it or not. The SSPX is being offered a path back to full communion with Rome. The much-anticipated meeting between Vatican Doctrine Chief Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez and Society Superior General Father Davide Pagliarani took place Thursday. It comes shortly after the SSPX announced it would consecrate bishops this summer without papal mandate. The Vatican communique makes clear further dialogue over doctrinal differences are necessary, and, quote, "The purpose of this path would be to highlight, in the issues debated, the minimum requirements for full communion with the Catholic Church, and consequently to outline a canonical statute for the fraternity, along with other aspects to be further explored. This path would require that the SSPX halt the consecrations, which, if they took place, would incur automatic excommunication. As Pope Benedict made clear, the break between the SSPX and Rome has to do not with liturgy, but with doctrine. The SSPX rejects aspects of Vatican II and has called the new Mass intrinsically evil. In related news, an SSPX priest is evading justice with the help of his community. For the past 2 years, Father Pierre Duverger, who was accused by multiple girls of grooming and abuse, has been avoiding a lawsuit. He was sued in 2024 by Stephen Sanborn, a layman who accuses him of breaking up his marriage and carrying on a relationship with his wife. Sanborn has tried at least 4 times to serve him legal papers, including multiple attempts at Duverger's residence at the SSPX Priory in Suresnes, France, where numerous other clergy live. But the community is shielding Duverger, who is not responding to the legal papers. The SSPX is now asking the court to dismiss the case for failure to prosecute, even as the SSPX itself is making it impossible to prosecute the case. In other news, a 16-year-old girl was sexually violated by a transgender wrestler. At a December 6th wrestling match at Rogers High School in Puyallup, Washington, Callie Keeler was groped by her opponent, who forcefully inserted his fingers against her vagina. Video shows Keeler in shock when the assault happens, trying to alert her mother. Keeler allowed herself to be pinned so that the match would end. At the time, Keeler did not know the player was biologically male. The assault was reported to staff at the school, who failed to report the crime to authorities in violation of Washington state law, which makes public school employees mandatory reporters. It was only after media contacted the school about the assault that it finally reported the incident to police, almost 2 months later, at the end of January. We ourselves contacted the school to ask about their failure to report, but as of this taping, we have not heard back. And turning to Hong Kong, a Chinese Catholic is getting 20 years in prison. A Hong Kong court sentenced Jimmy Lai on Monday, found guilty last year on charges of foreign collusion and seditious publication. Lai, a devout Catholic, is former owner of the newspaper Apple Daily and a vocal critic of communist China. Aged 78 and in poor health, Lai will likely die in prison. His daughter said, quote, "He is only sustained by his faith." The U.S. is reacting, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio tweeting, "The sentencing of Jimmy Lai in Hong Kong is an unjust and tragic conclusion to this case. We urge the authorities to grant Mr. Lai humanitarian parole." That is this week's Catholic News Roundup. Please go to stellamars.media to sign up to your email list for the latest news and updates. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless your week. I'm Christine Niles.